Welcome to Loot Level Chat. My name's Adam Cook, and it's episode 25, and I'm here with Stephen J. Chambles.
Hello.
That's a new version of your name entirely, that was.
That's quite nice. I enjoy that one.
Stephen J. Chambles.
Yeah, it's nice.
Chambly.
Thanks for a change.
No, I like to think of it as French, like Chambly. Stephen Chambly.
Oh, Chambly.
Yeah. Mick is here. Hello, Mick.
Hello.
And if you're watching on video, you've already seen him, but we have a special guest appearance by one Mr. Christopher Hyde. Hello, Chris.
Hello.
He is risen.
Weird.
He is risen. Oh, Adam told us he was dead.
You've said that.
Who's this guy?
Some fucking legend.
I would have called you and stuff. But Adam told us we had a funeral.
Yeah, that was a sad hour.
Appreciated the flowers.
Adam got pissed on our booze. I told us you were dead.
I just looked pissed.
Bastard.
I just looked pissed. I was never pissed. We are here to talk about video games, as excited as we are to have Mr. Hyde here. So we're going to start with a game he's played a little bit of. And I've just finished it. Mick reviewed it. Steve has got a cat appeared in his picture just randomly. As I'm
Steve's
talking.
cat's playing it.
I mean, that cat is worth
He's
the
going to
video
fill in what
version.
he's seen of it. It's fine.
He's started coming in every time we record.
I know. You lure him in with your dulcet tones.
Where's he going? There's no wall there.
Going out the window.
It's no,
He's looking for ops.
I'm hoping he just takes a shit right there on that steering wheel.
Horrendous.
Put Steve on main camera for just that opportunity. Hell is us, but it's not.
Hell is us.
It's not for the cat because the cat's having fun. Fucking hell! I've got better at this. So as you see, Chris.
Yeah, I was going to say the standards are fucking peaking.
Yeah,
Love it.
It's nerves, mate. Having someone so impressive here is like it makes me nervous. Hell is us. We're going to talk about this game, right? Because I know for a fact, Chris, you've played all of the demo and want to play more of it. Mick has finished it. I finished it yesterday, actually. I was in a weird gaming funk, and I was like, I never finished that, and I was enjoying it, so I went back and finished it. But I don't know where to start. So I'm hoping you or Mick can start, because it's such a strange anomaly of a video game in 2025.
It's kind of like it's almost got some old school stuff going on. I think I said as much in the review because a lot of it just reminded me of the first time I played, specifically Resident Evil 2, and I mean like the first time I played Resident Evil 2 back in the day when it was new. And then when I played like Remnant from the Ashes, it's got that kind of. It really doesn't. It feels very modern because it feels like a Souls-like, which it's not. But it's got a very Souls-like movement pattern to me. The combat feels very Soulsy, and it's not like it's
definitely not a Souls game.
Yeah,
Let's
so it's got like
that again and again.
It's got like a very modern sort of look. It's got a very modern. I mean, it's set in the 90s for no reason whatsoever. I feel like people set things in the 90s now so that they can. Not have mobile phones.
Isn't it supposed to be like Cold War-ish though? Like that's the
I think it's 96 specifically.
But it's also you've got a really modern futuristic drone.
Yeah, and that's also very weird. And like the APC you drive around in it all feels very modern day. So but listen, it's set in the 90s.
Before we get into too much of this game, I have to ask a question. How the fuck is he driving that APC? There's no windows and no visible on-screen like camera that he's driving it by. How's that thing being driven? Because every time it would show a cutscene when you're in there, I'm like,
I kind of feel like it's like the drone on top just takes you places. I kind of feel like you just go
driving cars were around.
I'm going
in the
here,
90s.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
It just drives.
And I guess this is the point. Like it's a fictional place, isn't it? It's not like this is downtown London or something. It's like
because they say European, so they say that Hadia. Thank you. Why could I not say that? I kept pronouncing it Hidea. That they say.
You're thinking of Kojima again, aren't you?
Yes, yeah. That it's European, and they have the ON instead of the UN.
I'd never put that together. I totally spaced on that. Now you say it, of course.
So it's kind of got this alternate history thing going on, or it feels like an alternate version of our world, because the history in this, because it's so like a little bit of background what it's about. You play Remy, who's like, I think he's a great character. I really warm to him. But you've got Remy, who's voiced by Elias Tufexis. I had to Google who it was because it drove me mad. It's Adam Jensen from Human Revolution. Yeah. So he was born in Hadea.
Still Hadia, but yep.
Hadia. He was born in, it's Dan Hadea as an actor. He was born in,
so is that because it's like Hades-esque?
I think so,
yes.
yeah.
That easy way to remember it?
Yeah, I think it's because I used the pun all in Hadea's work and I wanted to pronounce it like that. So yeah. He was born in this country. And when he was 5,
you say country.
Listen, they call it the nation of.
The way they, and I'm not spoiling anything for Chris here, but the way the early cutscene with the Jowly Chops man in it.
Yeah.
Like that's what he is, Steve.
I know exactly.
I've seen said Jowly Chops man. It's fine.
He's a Jowly Chops man. But the way he talks and the way they talk, and I'm trying to talk. I'm not going to go into anything deep, obviously, because I'm not going to spoil it. I'm just going on based on that early stuff that Chris will have seen. The way they talk about it is as if it's a place. Rather than because they talk about how did you get back into there?
Yeah, I mean, I got very like Hunger Games District 12 Pangea type thing going on.
And the Hadia thing, the Hades thing at the very start. I'm thinking, so is it like some sort of weird? Because they really specifically, I thought, and I've finished it, but they spell out how did you get back into Hades?
So I said to you, didn't I? The guy who's interrogating you doesn't look like he's meant to be human. Like he's not just a fat guy. It's a really strange.
He looks like one of the dudes from Demon Souls.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It looks like I thought you were being interrogated by some demon of the world. Maybe you are because
let's not spoil that bit. But yes.
But anyway, so yeah, you, for whatever reason, Remy, he said that he was born here. He was extricated at the 5 years old with other refugees, and he's been trying to get back in ever since. And the country, you get the feeling, or this nation is walled off from the rest of the world.
Yes.
With its neighbours, which is Sabinia, who have been. There's just been a war going on ever since, like for decades. This war has been going on between Hadia and
Sabinia. Now I'm doing
like get out Sabs and all this lot. So Remy, whatever he does, he joins the ON in order to be seconded to a peacekeeping unit that's sent into because it's because the ON seem to be just sort of sticking their nose in but not actually getting directly involved. So he goes in with a peacekeeping unit, and once he's in there, he's looking for his parents. That's what the story is. So no more spoilers, no more story.
No, that's like the setup. That's the
that's the setup of it. But this world is very like I can't even say it. Hadia is.
Just put your finger up like that, and Steve will pronounce it because he doesn't know the game, so he can just.
It's very much. It's like very fantasy, and it doesn't feel all that European. It feels more like it's almost British history because it's got like this history of knights and ancient orders and things like that. It almost feels like Arthurian, the way they've set this history of this country, and it's completely fantasy and made up. Like no nation on earth has this history with it. Do you know what I mean? It really is.
It's like the thing at the end of films. Is any relationship to any?
Yeah, it's really out there in terms of like, there were these ancient orders and there was magic, and it's just taken as a fact that in this nation this shit happened, right? And then now it's come back, and they call it the calamity. The country's overrun by hollow walkers, they're called, but they're just like zombies, I guess. Like,
do you know? Yeah, well, but do you know what? The one thing I really like about that, you mentioned about like the sort of weird oldie worldy lore and all this stuff that's going on. I don't know how they quite achieve this, and I say this having seen credits. It never feels stupid or weird. Like it feels weird because it is weird, but it never feels
it's somehow grounded.
Campy or that's exactly it. It never feels
and
like
I think
you're
that's
going,
because,
come on,
I think that's because it takes itself quite seriously. Like there's no point in this where you feel like there's a couple of bits, that like we spoke about earlier. No spoilers, but there's an NPC who makes me laugh by the way that NPC reacts to certain things that happen in a very we're in a video game almost kind of way. Do you know what I mean? It's like there's a couple of bits where the game has like a little bit of levity. Remy in particular is very sarcastic, and sometimes he comes out with some real great lines. But it's quite a serious game. It's really fucking bleak. Like I said in the review, there's some imagery in this game that will. I hate using this word, but it will genuinely trigger people.
It's imagery that people don't. They might think of it at a meeting or think I'd like to put this in a story, but usually you go,
it would be stuff. But also, it would be stuff like, oh, this person committed suicide off screen. No, it's like there's that person, they're dead, and this is what they did. Yeah. It's. But
also, because I've only seen a bit of it, but I've seen some of it in the demo.
Yeah.
And like the thing for me is it's not like done for like a shock or scare tactic to try and overemphasize it. It's almost residual kind of background.
Yeah, it's
this
never
is what's so unsettling,
which is even worse.
This is what's so there's no bits like there's no like Max Payne bit where you go through a house and you find your family murdered and it's like it's not like that. It's just like you open a door, you walk into a kitchen, there's a dead kid on the floor, and it's like
it's matter of fact about a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and it's just there. You can't interact with the corpse. You can't. And there's just like a soldier sitting on the couch next to this dead kid having a cigarette, and it's like, so did you kill these? Can I kill you? And it's like, it's just part of the world. It's just, and it's really quite, it's horrific, but it's not done in a kind of, it doesn't seem to be done for, like you say, shock value or let's catch some headlines or anything like that.
I think we can sort of, I just don't want to spoil anything because I do think such a big part of this game is mystery, and I wanted to sort of move us towards that a bit because we talked about what the setting is. And we can continue to, but like I think it's worth bringing in now. At some point, I was pitched this game, and it was like it's 50. The combat is half the game, and that was an interesting statement to read because the statement, what they're saying is the combat is there, and I think the combat's actually quite fun for what it's worth. I actually quite enjoy the combat, and there's a Bloodborne style regain health mechanic, which once you actually learn the patterns, once you learn the systems, you can kind of abuse it. Like you can just be full health if you want to. And also just to before, because we will forget, because Mick, you and I didn't play it this way, you can go into the menus, you can tweak this game, so it is a Souls game, which I think is a really fucking interesting thing to have done.
Yeah, you can literally turn on respawning enemies.
Yeah, but I want to be clear again, this is not a Souls-like.
No,
you can make it one.
Yeah, the Souls-like, I guess, for me, is more in the combat with the Bloodborne-y, Sekiro-y stuff.
It.
Yeah, and the world, like because there's no map, because there's and like this again is one of those things. And still after having played and loved Hell Is Us, there's still in my opinion, there's still only one developer that has ever really nailed the level design to such an extent that you don't need a map to remember where you're going, where you've been, where the shortcuts lead to, and it's From Software. Like
I think this gets close, mate. I think this gets very close.
It does, but where and why it works so well for From Software is because they had developed a fantasy world that was designed to naturally funnel you in certain ways. I
was going to say that
Hell Is Us is much more open than that.
Yeah, and I think, but you know what? Because I will say this because I'll just come on here and ruffle feathers. Fuck it, I don't care. I'm gone in a minute, but like I don't need a map, and these little fannies that keep moaning that there's no maps in these types of games need to get some spatial awareness. Like, I actually like in this open area, the first open area, and it's quite small, right? But the first part of the open area is this forest, and I actually quite like the fact that you can go multiple ways around trees, like you can in every fucking forest that ever existed.
And you know what, as well? It makes you pay attention.
Yes.
Because when you're in that bit at the beginning and he's told you there's wind chimes. So when I went off exploring, then I turned around and I was like, fuck, where do I go?
Same thing.
Oh, there's a wind chime. So the wind chime's about,
and
so
he
I follow
tells
the wind
you that.
chimes.
He's clear about it. And that's another thing, by the way. The game tells you that. The first thing you see when you play this game is, I can't paraphrase it, but it basically says there's no maps. We won't tell you what to do.
Yeah,
good
no
luck.
Quest markers.
It cannot be faulted. You can absolutely not like it for that. You can, but it is very, very clear The second you start playing, that is what you are playing.
If you're
There was
going
one bit,
then that's on you, isn't it? At that point, it's...
absolutely. But there was one bit of the game where I genuinely thought I could do the map. Chris, you haven't seen it yet. I'm not going to go into it. It's a dungeon of sorts. It actually was my fault, but in a weird way. So let me ask you all a question. You start a brand new game and you always get the same thing. Adjust the brightness until blah, 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 blah is visible. Do all of you turn it up higher than...
I always go brighter.
Yeah.
Always go brighter.
Right.
The game nearly always tells you to make it darker for the sake of making
I always go to where it says.
Yep, and then
go up a chunk, because I'm like I'm just like, I want to be able to see stuff.
Yes.
Like I'm old.
Yep.
Like I want to see stuff. Like, and let's be honest, if I'm going to get jump scared in a horror game, I'm going to get jump scared in a horror game if it's a few more things to the right. Anyway, and you know, it's not going to go. It's not scared me because it's daytime now.
Are you using a TV with HDR? Are you not? Have you got a monitor? Are you on a small screen? Are you playing it on a Steam Deck?
Because you weren't you?
Yeah, so I played on a variety of different things, and it genuinely, I didn't realise until like a few areas later when a puzzle come up, and I was like, well, I'm just thick because I cannot solve this. Mick, what the fuck am I doing? And he said something, and he basically said, look at the statue. Most of this game's puzzles, generally speaking, are... in terms, just look around. You've missed something. Look around. You've not seen it.
You may see a symbol somewhere.
Exactly. That's exactly what I said. That's what Mick said. Look at the symbols on the statues, and I'm like, there's no fucking symbols on these statues. And then I stopped and looked at it and I went, wait, hang on, what was that? And my torch just caught a flash. I was like, wait, there's statues on every one of these statues has got a torch. Turn the brightness up, and it's like, fine. So
it's all on you in your settings then.
Well, no, I played the game the way they told me to, with like barely visible. Make it so it's barely visible.
And I think they want you to use your torch, and they want you to really get into that.
I had to get like, it was too close. I was like right up on it, and then I thought back to this area I was moaning about with the map, and I'm like, I wonder if I had it a little brighter, because
you might have found your way.
It's the only area in the game I would say that, because I think what they do superbly well is there's always something interactable somewhere that gives you the ability to distinguish, oh, I've been here. Because there's a thing, oh, I remember looking at that. There's always something slightly unique, not like massively, it's subtle, but that one area, I found it difficult because it just all looks like a fucking dungeon. But I think back now, if I'd had that brightness up a bit more, I reckon that wouldn't have felt the same. If I'm honest, though, it's not the map I miss. I slightly wish how would you describe it? The not quest log, because it hasn't. Well, it has got a quest log, but
I kind of wish Remy made notes a little bit,
like
because I don't mind jotting notes down for a game. Like it pulls me out. Usually, this game is designed in such a way that when you pause to make notes, you're not getting hit by monsters. You're not. You feel like you have got. Huh?
Can we see your notes? I don't know if we'll be able to see them on the camera, but I've seen them and I think they're worth seeing. Like
they look like the etchings of a madman.
They are just. I don't know if you can.
Yes,
I don't know if
it's on white. You can see a lot of text.
Like it's just scribbles and circles and trying to work. So this game does. I tell you what, it does a really good thing where. So it tutorializes bits at the beginning. Press this button to attack. Press this button to dodge. It gives you those basics right away. And then after that, there's a thing in this game where you find these chests. They're called limbic chests, and you need special rods to open them. You'll never find the rods where the chests are. You'll find the rods scattered throughout the world. There's specific colors, specific patterns to put together, and you'll find them everywhere. And then you'll go, fuck. And I started drawing the patterns and colors down when I found chests I couldn't open, and then I'd find keys for them later, and I'd flick through it and go,
I did that. Keys in this game.
So then I'd go back, and you basically get these things called limbic rods. You normally 1, 2, or 3 you need, and you put them in the right order, and they open chests. Usually there's some knick-knack in there you need, or an item, or a new weapon, or they open doors to secrets. So there's nowhere in the game that a tutorial pops up and says you need a special key to open these. Instead, you'll find a note somewhere. If you look everywhere and you pick up everything and you pick up all the notes and books and there's a book where some in-game NPC somewhere has told you this, has gone, I found these rods, there must be a place that they go, and you go, oh right, so that's what you use those for. Now you can intuit that if you've played enough games. Like if you played games and you find a rod and you've earlier on seen a square, like a square rod, and I've seen a square hole, you put that together.
So like Chris has seen the square holes, but I don't think he'll have seen the rods.
He might not have seen the rods yet.
He knows what's coming, like you say, because he's played games.
But it's good. It's good that, and it does this throughout the game. Like if you need a code for a safe, he won't remember it. Remy won't remember it. So you won't find a code and put it together, or find a code in a notebook. And then when you get like some games, you'll get to the door and he'll go, "Oh, it was 4596." And it doesn't do that.
You've got to have
if you don't
remember where it is.
And sometimes you'll get half a code in one audio book, and you won't find the other audio book to get the other. Or it does this really good thing where, and I say good, it's the most video gamey thing everywhere, right? No one in this ancient civilization used fucking keys and locks. It's like Resi 2. Everything is locked with an emblem or a special code or moving the picture in a certain way, and that's what this game is. Like it's that level of puzzle. But it's that level of puzzle, and in between all these big puzzles, because there's some puzzles that like I scratched my head over for a good half hour, 40 minutes, and I was, I don't want to give too much of a peek behind the curtain, but we could have had answers to some of these, during the review period. There was an option from the devs to say this is hard if you need help, and I didn't know this, so I did it all my own.
I don't know if I'm good or bad, but I did, and I deliberately didn't let you know, because more than anything, you're not. I was tempted, and I did. You didn't. You genuinely didn't. Which is, I think, a fucking
this game as much.
Yeah, no.
If I'd had a cheat sheet, because the reason it was a point in this game was that the puzzle that Adam mentioned earlier that he got stuck on, where he couldn't see it because the brightness was low. Yeah. That was the puzzle where I was like, I'm fucking all in now here. Like it's the second, I think probably the second, or it might even be the first big puzzle of the game. It's before the other one that you got.
No, it's not. It's after that.
It's after that. So it's the second big sort of story base. You got to do this to continue puzzle. And the game's got maybe.
I love the way I'm just. Adam got stuck on this, and Adam got stuck on that. It's after that one you got stuck on, right? Isn't it? Right, Vicky Cuntman.
I think there's half a dozen, 6 or 8 of these big puzzles that you have to get past to progress, and everything else is optional. Some of them are just as big, some of them are optional. But it was this point where I was like, I fucking really like this, because it makes you feel really clever. It's like, oh, I found that symbol up there, and then I found that, and look, the arrows are going that way, so that means it goes in this order. And I was getting excited, like while I was making these notes, and I was like, and I clocked it, and I did it all, and then I was like, I heard something open, and then I was like, what the fuck did that open? And then it's like run around that little area again, and then I found it, and then I progressed, and then I got, and then like.
Is there much backtracking to go through? But the way you describe
I want to talk about that.
So a lot of the backtracking is optional. Like the story pushes you forward in a certain way.
Well, this is what I want to jump in here, Mick, if I may, just a minute, because while I absolutely everything you said, totally agree. Like those moments are like there's when you go to a new area and you kind of just solve it all or most of it, you feel that euphoric, like, oh, I'm so clever and great. However, I just want to give not a counter opinion, because I agree with what you've said, but there are situations. So I don't want to spoil anything, but you can, when it says it won't tell you where to go, it sort of will. You can work out where to go via interactions. Okay, you talk to people and you will get clues. We know this.
They're just gently nudging you along, essentially.
Not even. No, I wouldn't even go that far. I just mean they will mention, and you will, by solving a puzzle, it will like reveal a new location because you have solved the puzzle and it's gone, oh, this is where that thing's kept. And it's like, well, I didn't even know that place existed. Now I do. I'm going to go there. But the major thrusting point of how you finish the game, you can tackle it in any way you wish to do so. You don't have to go to the, like, so Mick and I, so the last area I did was the first area Mick did of the big areas, shall we say, right?
Okay.
Which is fascinating in itself, because I mean that is such a cleverly designed game that is actually possible, because it genuinely is. Like, it is genuinely possible to completely do these in the order you come to. So it's like you can't just go, oh, Mick, the third area, how do I do this? It's like, because this third area is not my third area, so you need to be like, I'm at this location, how do I solve this puzzle in this location? Anyway, You do go
It's
back
not
and
breaking
forth.
the narrative by
Not
doing
at
that
all.
either.
Not at all. There's
And
no
bear in
breaking
mind,
the
it's not just 3. Like you'd normally
No,
get
no, I'm
like do
just
these.
like, yeah.
There's like 6 or 7
there's loads
of these
and loads of
areas that
areas,
you
yeah.
can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they all link up, and how the hell we did them so differently, and yet it all worked. Again, I think that's genius. Regardless of that, you do a lot of backtracking to these areas because they are, you might do something that gives you, I found this thing, and I remember that. That was a, I'm going to say key because it's broad, like an emblem, an access thing to this area over here. So I go back there. I kind of had a bit of a rough end of that in that I had an item, and I roughly knew what it was for, and I figured that that's probably going to be then the key to that other thing I need, and it was in a treasure chest. Okay, I could not remember where this treasure chest was. I had two solutions to that problem. One, I just say, look, Mick, you finished it. Where the fuck's this treasure chest? Which is what I did. The other would have been to just run around every single area in the game over again until I remembered or just fell across it, basically, because there is no way of making a note on a map or a marker. There is no. I saw that chest and it had a symbol on it, so it's that. And it's the notebook. It's your notebook writing down location, snake. If you don't do that, you could fall. And I'm shit memory wise, but like it genuinely was like I could. The only way I could do this if I didn't have a Mick on my phone would have been to go through every area one by one because I knew I'd seen it. I knew what it was. I knew it was a chest with this symbol in. I knew that was the only thing really I could not remember where it was. And I say that is your notebook. And I want to stress that your head is your notebook. If you don't make notes, if you don't remember it, you will have that. And that's not a negative at all. I'm just pointing out that it is a thing.
It doesn't sound like a negative to someone like
not
me,
at
so
all.
that's fine. But I have a question kind of closely related to that. So in the menus, obviously there is a notebook, but there is like loads of sort of like, I guess, quest logs and things that you can unlock as you discover them, like secrets to solve and puzzles to solve and what are they called? Nice gestures or whatever they're
good deeds.
Good deeds.
Good deeds, right? And there's loads of them.
Variation that's called something else as well.
And there's one that you can do in the demo. And I wanted to ask about it because like it obviously you're talking about notebooks and stuff, but like I found the item and it so happens to be a key. I'm not spoiling a lot with that, I don't think. And then in my menu system, it was like binga 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 bing.
Yes.
This is a good deed that you could potentially do. It might be worth doing this, but dinga dinga ding. And I'm like, well, is it notebook or is it like when you find something that is relevant to something, it does tell you?
Right. So when you find a person that you can do a good deed for, it'll go bing and you'll get good deed discovered or whatever it's called. Good deed begun. If you go in your menu in exploration, it will show you all the good deeds, but all it gives you is the name of the good deed and a blurred out picture.
Basically,
there's nothing else. It doesn't give you a clue where it is. Doesn't tell you what.
No. So in the demo, and I don't know how true this is of the main game, it's all blank. And then when I found the key, it was like first good deed. You found the key. And I'm like, well, I know I need to go and give it to you.
So what's happening here is that one is the kind of designed to make you go, I get the system. As you progress more, the good deeds become, they're not quite that simple. So they are really multi-layered. Like, so they will not.
So it's not obvious. Like it won't flag that. Okay, this is related.
It'll be blurred out. It will be a picture and it will be like blurred, so you can, and you'll have the name of the good deed, but you won't know what it is.
Yeah. So that's
the fair warning. The game has milestones that if you pass them, you can fail.
Oh yeah. No, I think it tells you that. I think it does tell you that, and the puzzles as well. So like that's the thing. Like as soon as I got the blurred out good deed or the blurred out puzzle thing, I was like, well, I'm missing an emblem.
The trouble with them is, and Mick knows this firsthand, is that while you might think that the way this game deals and treats you as the player, because it's so hands off, you have no idea if you are at risk of failing one of these good deeds. And I won't go into any more detail than that. Mick alluded to how tragic and dark some of it is. There's a place I won't go back to because I'm pretty sure that felt like a thing I had to do soon. And
I
that's
fucked
going to
really,
be bad.
I fucked
So I'm
one
not
up that
going
really
back.
made me feel bad. Two
Right.
that made me really feel bad, and I saw the fruits of my failure. But like, this is the other thing though. To that point, right? Yeah, the world is really grim, but the reason there's no moral choice system, the reason that they're just good deeds, it counters how grim this world is perfectly, because Remy is not like he describes himself, or the guy who's interrogating him describes him as a high functioning sociopath. That's what he is. He's very results driven. He knows what he's there to do, right? He's not a hero, but he's a good person in the way he reacts to things and the way he acts with people, and he's quite protective of a couple of NPCs in the game. So you've got that natural kind of goodness.
His
to
inner
the
moral
character.
compass is in the right place. Yeah.
So what it does is, by giving you good deeds, it's not giving you, like, if you had an option in this game to where it was like, oh, you can either save the baby
Paragon
by giving it this
Renegade,
milk,
you're talking.
or you can sell the baby for, like, that would fuck this game up. Like, that's not what this is.
No.
This is like, you're in this hellhole. Everybody you meet is either an evil bastard, or they're being trodden on by evil bastards. That's it. That's the two sides of this story. And as Remy, your role in it is to help these people, and that's what you do. So when you go out and complete these good deeds, there are great rewards for them. You get, you'll see that later. I won't spoil it, but you get rewards for the good deeds.
Yeah, it says in the demo,
every single thing you do is rewarded.
You might get a reward for this.
Yeah, and you do, and they're great rewards. They're really good stuff. Like, you want to do them, but also you get this, like, I fucking saved a baby's life in a war zone. I got this group of people out of this town by risking my life and saving their lives. Like, there's these things that you do. You don't have to do them, but they give you, like, it's really good. Like, I feel like it's like, this is part of the reason I really like this game. It really incentivizes you to just be a fucking good guy in a world that really needs a good guy, without.
What is the feel good factor then?
Without being like, Remy is a hero, Remy is a savior. It's not like that. It's just like, you're a guy who's come into this world. There's a fucking baby that's starving to death. What does any decent human being do in that situation? And you just do that, and then you get a reward for doing that. And I know that some people would probably prefer the moral choice thing, but I don't think this game needs it. And I think it just, and like you said, you asked about some of the, and I know we're running on a bit with Hell Is Us now, but like, you mentioned some of the like the way it presents some of these good, it's not all good deeds either. Sometimes it's just a mystery, so that you can still help people by solving a mystery. But the way it does it is, you can come upon somebody early on in the game and they can talk to you. There's a character early on, I won't spoil, don't worry. There's a character you meet very early on. As soon as you enter the second area, there's a character that you meet, and this character gives you no indication that they want anything from you. Right? They give you no indication that you can help them in any way, but every single character you talk to has a thing
I've
you
just
can
realised
press.
I forgot about that character.
Yeah, so
well,
did
it's
I.
interesting, but you know what? Because I think I know what you're talking about, and it's literally right at the end of the demo. And what the game does, which I thought was really clever, is it says when you meet this person, some people won't look like they can help you very much right away.
Exactly.
But you need to, come back to talk to people when you've discovered other things, and they might have more to say.
Yeah, but you meet that character really early, right?
Yeah.
And he tells you himself, you can't help me. I don't want what you're offering me. Because everybody you talk to, you can press talk or trade. And trade just gives them the item that they need. And you can try all of it. You can have an inventory with 20 things in and cycle through all of them, and you might get lucky. But really, if you pay attention to what they're saying, what they're doing, what their name is, what they tell you, you might be able to help them directly. And this one character, I found what he needed way later. And I didn't know he needed it. I tried giving this thing to fucking everybody with a child because I was like, it must be something to do with a child. I tried it with everybody and I forgot about him. And then when I ended it, well, I was near the end of the game, and I went back there and I tried this thing and it worked. And then he then gave me something that I needed that I could then use for another mystery or another good deed in a completely different, unrelated. It wasn't related to him at all. It was another thing completely. And it's really clever because it doesn't ever just go like, if I'd have met him in I don't want to throw shade at this because I'm a big fan of these games, but if I'd met him in a Ubisoft Assassin's Creed game, it would have gone, this character needs this, and you can find it here on the map. So
exclamation point above his head.
Fast travel back. Give him it. He'll give you a key. Fast travel.
And
there.
there is a place for those games, like you say. That it's this really stands out as something quite unique in that. And you're right. We should move to another game. But I just want to say I really do wish them such tremendous success with this game because it's something.
I really do. Yeah.
That it wouldn't have even felt that alien when we were younger, growing up playing video games, because a lot of games back then needed you to write notes down because there were no saves.
That's what it reminded me of.
I was going to say that without sounding old. It sounds more like a traditional video game.
Because I can remember, we're all of an age that we can remember sitting there with a pen and paper or whatever,
like it's a throwback.
And just writing a code down or something that your brother had told you that he'd found, like especially Resident Evil. Like, where the fuck's the emblem for this?
Yeah, and when you said going around everywhere till you find it, we've all been there. Like,
but like,
before we move on, I will say this: there are some elements of this game that I did feel a bit frustrated at times in small bursts. Like, it never pissed me off enough to be like, I'm giving up and going away.
Same.
Never did that. But there are moments where it's like, I found another key. I've got 24 keys and I've only found 11 locks, and none of these fit those locks, and I don't know whether. And then like you'd be like in an old area, and you walk around a corner, and there'd be a chest that you forgot about, and it'd be like, have I got the fucking key? And then you might have it, and then you like, I found that key. And it does that with safe combinations, with characters, with doors, with keys, with emblems. It's if you went through it and you wrote down everything you found and where it was, you'd probably have an easier time, but you would take yourself out of it too much. I think it's well balanced.
With that in mind, Mick, how long's a playthrough roughly?
Mine took me 29 hours.
Wow.
And I know for a fact I did about 2/3 of all the good deeds, and I did about maybe a little bit over half of all the mysteries. I know there were puzzles I walked away from and never went back to, and I know that there's these little, without going on, but there's these little things called time loops that you have to clear out all the enemies, and then you go into the time loop and you activate a thing and it closes the time loop, and usually you get a reward that's buried under the time loop. There might be a whole area behind the time loop that you can't get to till you destroy it. Right. And I only did 50% of those.
I did
so I know I only did
yeah.
about half of those, because it tells you when you find one, it goes into your log. Yeah. And there's also things that are called like vaults of knowledge, where you take your NPC friend items and they will research them for you, and when they've researched enough, a bar fills up and they go, I've unlocked this vault of knowledge.
I only did one of those,
and I did 2 of them, but I found 3 more that I hadn't got the combinations to yet. So there's a lot I didn't do. I reckon you'd maybe 40-45 hours.
Well, my playthrough was 20, but I've just realised when talking, because I was thinking, how the hell is mine so different to yours? I started it on PC, played a few hours of it, and then restarted on PlayStation 5.
Yeah, because you said you got to where you were really quick, because you knew where you were going.
I knew all the dialogue, I knew the solutions to the puzzles, so I was just rushing through it to get back to what I was, what's the demo's a good hour and a half if you play a lot of it. I'd say even closer to 2, and the next area I'd done a huge proportion of, so I reckon I played 3 to 4 hours on PC, maybe more. And so sort of add that back onto my PlayStation.
You could mainline it in. You'd mainline it in 12-15, and it is quite a big campaign. It is quite a long campaign, and because there's so many puzzles within the campaign,
I don't think
if you're playing it without a guide.
You say mainline. I don't think you can mainline it.
It's not a game that seems built to mainline. Like, there's too much stuff.
You could speed run it.
Built to enjoy.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah, it will take me longer than 29 hours.
Yeah, it will.
Based on the demo, I was crawling every pixel of that fucking forest and everything.
For a pixel hunter like yourself, you'll have reams of notes. It'll be.
But it also can be frustrating, Mick, because you, as you know, and Chris knows, from that first level in the first area in the demo, there are things you just cannot access. You have to come back, and it's knowing when to go. So that's the one thing. And again, it comes back to that kind of notebooky style thing of, that's the one thing of like, I don't know. Have I missed something, or is this required for me to come back?
You'd said to me at one point, what did you do with that, X in the X? And I went, I didn't even find that.
Yeah.
What was that? And I went back and found it, and then even though I was like 12 hours ahead of Adam, I still didn't have the solution and the thing I needed.
I guarantee that Chris will have found this in the demo. It will be there as you come out of the underground into the
trenches.
I was going to say black. It always makes me think of Blackadder goes forth for some reason, that section.
Yes.
But that section, there is another little bit of trenches you can go down into, and there's a woman behind a door. I never found that emblem. I know where it is because she tells you it's some guy's gone off. He's gone to this town, and I went to that town, but it was so much later that I sort of forgot, and I never found that emblem. So I know Mick did, but it's that level of game of things you can do, and we should move on because otherwise this is just a Hell Is Us podcast.
Well, it sounds like you enjoyed it.
It's a tremendous game. I really hope they do well. With that in mind, what do we want to talk about next? Do we want to talk about the biggie, or what do we want to do next? Because we can talk about Lost Soul Aside. We can talk about Silksong.
I think Chris is hankering for something here. So,
what's he hankering for?
I mean, I don't mind. I've only played one of those games, so
let's Lost Soul on the go.
Let's go for Lost Soul, because I think the two of us have played more of that, and Silksong at the time we're recording, it's just come out, so me and Steve have played about an hour each, so we can give some early impressions for the 6 people in the entire world who are going, I'm not going to buy it until I've heard what critics have to say. For that one. Lost Soul Aside has been coming for a long time, as I understand it. Started off as a solo dev. I remember there being a trailer that, it might have been during a State of Play, or something like that was like, that's made by one guy, and of course
I vaguely remember. It's
been added to more teams since it's out now. It's been patched, I think, twice since I last played it.
Can you give me a reminder of just what the fuck this is?
So imagine if someone else made a Final Fantasy game because they loved Final Fantasy games, but it was an action hack and slash Devil May Cry style character action game in a very Final Fantasy pair of trousers.
So you mean like Final Fantasy 16?
Yeah. Do you know what the game it reminds me of? I don't know if you've played this, Chris. They actually did a HD re-release, Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core.
No,
this
but I know it
me
got
of that,
remade.
Except that's got like mission structure where you're like, I'm doing this mission. It really reminds me of that in all of the both positive and negative ways. You can play the demo of it. I've played about an hour of the final game. If I'm honest with you, and I'll start by saying this, and I don't enjoy saying this, but that's probably all I'm going to play of it. I'm sure it's much better and it improves, but
I was quite hyped for this as well, if you remember. Like it was on my anticipated. I think I was really looking forward to. And then I think I don't really want to. It needed
longer, man. Like Chris, you can back me up. It needed. I know that at some point you have to draw a line under a game and go, look, we've got to put this out now. This game needed longer.
Yeah, this is really hard, right? Well, it's not. I could just shit on it and run away and never come back. But like, I don't like shit.
No.
I feel like, because I was actually excited about it. Like, I tried the demo. I don't try a lot of demos. I tried Hell Is Us because you said you'll fucking love this. Yeah. I tried this of my own volition because of the noise around it, and you read the description and you're like, quite like Devil May Cry, quite like Final Fantasy. Cool. Let's go. And so I played the demo, and it just feels a little bit underbaked and soulless, really. Like, you can see what it's trying to be. It is trying to be those games, but like everything just... it doesn't feel like a game that's been in development for so long. It feels like the opposite. It feels like a demo that's been rushed out when it's not finished. And this demo was as it was launching as well. It was a bit of a weird timing thing. The combat is... It's not dull, but it's nothing. You're not going to be like, oh my God, I've never seen anything like this before. It feels a little bit... what's the phrase? It's like, it's not unresponsive, but it doesn't feel like it packs a lot of punch when you hit stuff.
I find that it's got no feedback. Like,
no feedback.
I feel there's
that's
so
it.
little feedback to what you're doing.
Yeah, and it just... and the one thing with the demo, which I'm sure it's by design, but it tells you very little and restricts the experience completely down, right? So you go in the menu, everything in the menu is padlocked. like fucking everything.
Really?
Like, so it doesn't want you to see anything. I'm like, okay, well, I kind of want to know what game I'm playing. No.
Yeah.
Got to buy the full game to know what the map might look like. Okay, well, all right then. Anything like that, anything. So it's like, okay, so I end up sort of figuring shit. I've got these cool abilities with cooldowns that I've realized because there's some fucking icons on the screen. Okay, well, I'll use them. No idea what they do. Can't map them to anything or do anything else. So I do them. Don't really know what they're supposed to be doing, but sometimes they damage things, and that's cool. I ended up, brute forcing my way through a boss that took far too long for a first boss. Felt like a fucking Dark Souls boss, the way he just kept going, chipping away. I was probably doing the combat wrong because I've not been told how to do it. And then, like, you unlock you get a weapon off this fella that you beat, right? Like a Dark Souls thing, right? You get their, like, greatsword or whatever. I was like, sweet. Get a better weapon. Now I'm stronger. But you can't go into the equipment menu because that's padlocked off. So you've just got this new weapon. You can't even try it because it's the demo, and it's this again. It's not a Souls-like, but in Dark Souls or whatever, where like you go and pick up all the shiny icons that are all the items, right? It's a bit like that.
Yeah.
And they've got all these names. Do I know what the fuck they do? No, I don't.
Can
I
tell you
see
what
how
one
many
of them
I've got?
is.
Can I fuck? No, it just like
they literally call the healing thing a high potion, which to me was like, okay,
It's a bit on the nose, isn't it?
Yeah. But like, I was like, I don't know. It's only because I just suddenly saw the icon. I was like, well, I've got 4 potions in the bottom left-hand corner that have been auto-mapped for me. Oh, that one seems to heal me 30%. Wow. This one seems to full heal me. That's handy. No idea what the other 2 do. Fucking hell, let's keep going. And it's just like I was like, okay, I get that you want people, but people play demos to experience a proper slice of the experience. Yes, it can be curated to an extent. So I was like, I've got no idea. And then
I feel like that would frustrate me so much.
I was like trying to give it a fair crack of the whip, and then there's like cutscenes that are like in between stuff where you're like, this would be really good if I was controlling the character or at least doing some quick time things. But now I'll just sit back and watch the cool stuff that my character does. Oh, this is going to sound stupid because video games do this, right? But I've literally just spent like however many minutes grinding away at this boss and beating it. And then there's a cutscene afterwards where the hero guy literally uses his sword to cleave massive fucking stones into it's a lightsaber. I'm like, how have I just not killed that guy instantly then if I can cleave rocks into like proper fucking masonry, like massive architecture into with a sword? That didn't seem to be a thing 5 minutes ago, nor is it a thing in the combat that happens straight after it. But for this lovely cutscene, just to make, I guess, what they think is an impact, and them to go, oh fucking hell, that looks cool. Doesn't it? It looks weird because it just feels like, well, who is this character and why is he strong? Is he not strong? What's because the character I'm playing as feels weak as piss, yet the character in the cutscene looks like a fucking Jedi. I don't quite. It just felt like
I don't feel like I missed anything with this, and honestly, I really thought I would. Like I really thought that it was a game that looks very good in trailers. Like it's a game that's almost built for its trailers. Like because I watched the gameplay trailer for it, I think yesterday. It just happened to roll in one of my social feeds, and I was watching it, and it was after I'd heard like a few things about it from people that have played it, and I was like it still looks like I thought to myself, if I
no,
and it's like that Mind's Eye. I felt the same with Mind's Eye. Maybe
I've played Mind's Eye now.
It won't be as bad as people are saying. But it is. I've got too many good games right now.
And this is the thing. I can only go on the demo, right? And on the demo, I can't recommend it because I'm like, unless all the things that you can access in the menu drastically impact your enjoyment of the game, I can't see how it is. I don't think that's going to solve a combat issue.
What's so weird though? You could be describing a different game to the one I've played, the final build of. That final, they patched, you know what I mean? The retail the purchased copy. Because, if anything, I'm playing this, opening this game going, all right, come on. Because it's like, go up to person, stand in front of them. Nope, you're too close. Go back a bit. Turn around, face them, press X. Okay, now you can talk to them. They're going to talk to you for 3 lines. Great. Okay, now go forward. Here's how you. If you press square, you will do a light attack. If you press triangle, and all of this, and I'm like,
in many senses, do you know what I was reminded of? I was reminded, when we talked a while ago about Visions of Mana with its demo in like just however far in the story that is, I forget, but you're like, all the characters are talking, and you're like, sorry, what are we talking about? It's a lot like that. We're like, they just do with these two characters. Like, I don't know who this lass is, but apparently she's important. Oh, well, let's just reference a conversation that we've had, but you haven't. Yes. I'm like, I don't understand any of the context of what I'm doing, and I'm like,
even though I would have, because I've played it is clear it does sound like a demo issue, but the problem is you did hit on another thing it does. So I've been recently playing Devil May Cry 5, as people who listen to the Patreon exclusive podcast will know, and that's an older game, but it does the thing of every bit of the combat feels badass. You feel badass, and I don't mind a cutscene being super badass as well if you have that feeling when you're playing it.
Yeah, that's the thing that annoyed me.
Never do is what you've said, is that basically it's like mashy and there's no feedback, and then they show you all the cool shit that you can't do when you're playing it. I don't want to watch this. I want to do this. And like, so for example, a game like Devil May Cry, it does both. It shows you cool stuff in cutscenes, but you also can do cool stuff, and it's like that is a bit of a sin for me in a third-person action adventure when you are shown stuff you can't do, and then you go back to doing your stuff, and you're like, I want to do that. That looked cool. Why can't I do that? You've just shown me that you can do that. Why can't I do? And I don't want to shit on the game. I don't, because I haven't played enough to be like, this is my definitive scored review. Chris did that on LootLevelChill.com. Like he gave it a 7. I don't think I could go that high, but he's played more of it. Like, the platforming for me doesn't feel right.
He did say he really enjoyed the combat. I read his review.
And
he, for whatever reason, it must have clicked. Something must have clicked with Chris, and he quite enjoyed it.
Maybe, man. But
and I have seen other people say that, so I don't know if it's, when it's unshackled and you get more bits, and maybe it's really customizable. I don't know.
Why not lead with that? Why not lead with your best foot forward? And why not show me that cool combat and have me doing it? Because it's not just that the combat isn't like exciting, right? And I don't want to keep comparing it to Devil May Cry, because it's both fair and unfair, because that game's 6 years old. So it's sort of like weird to be able to even do this. It's not just that. Like, I just don't think there's any feedback to what you're doing, and like, it just feels like you're swishing at air, because there's no impact to what you're doing, whether you're dealing out damage or receiving damage. And when that basically turns it into, it's almost like, in an MMO where you just like, you're holding down a mouse button and it's doing damage and making a bar go down. That's acceptable in that sort of genre. That's not, you're not there for the combat in, say, a World of Warcraft, perhaps.
You go into it expecting that, don't you?
Yeah, like, this is an action adventure. I want to.
Final Fantasy 14, Crimson, or Black Desert. The combat looks flashy, but you're just holding a button. Really, like you get some tactics to it. But
I do think
if it's an action game,
this game could get there, but it does need more time. And by the looks of the patches, it's going to be updated and stuff. And I don't want to be like, this will never be any good. I do think there is something there. They could get there, but right now, I mean, like Chris said, there's a demo. Try a demo, but
the demo sounds like maybe
I want to, man.
But it's so strange to me. What Chris has described this game, it tells you nothing, and the game I've played is like, could you stop telling me shit and let me, And then when it finally does, about sort of 45 minutes in, like after all the setup and stuff, it just doesn't feel great. And I'm very much a person who likes, game feels quite important to me. Whether it's a shooter, whether it's an action game, I want an impact. And it's not like, because some games do DualSense stuff really amazingly, where you're like, this is so cool. Some don't. Some are just normal games that don't, use that stuff.
It'll be a rumble.
Yeah, just a bit of rumble, but like, it still has a feel and a responsiveness and a feedback to the player that this is missing. And I think that's a large thing to fix. It's doable, but I think that's a difficult thing to fix.
Maybe it's a comeback in 6 months' time, see how it's got on.
I hope so, because it seems like a passion project. It seems genuinely like a person who's made a game or started making a game with a team that loves what they do. I really hope you're right, Steve. And I know, Chris, you were the same. You want it to be, but right now,
not recommended.
Let's move on to Silksong. Well, I just want to say before we get into Silksong, just quickly. if you haven't, go to our website, which if you're watching the video, you can see up there. Loot Level Chat, it says, but lootlevelchill.com, and you can see a preview of Borderlands 4, which Mick has written and been playing. We'll talk about that soon more, I would imagine, probably for about as long as we've just talked about for Hell Is Us. But let's talk. Let's finish this
say about Borderlands. Yeah,
yeah, indeed. But in a preview sense, you can go and read the preview right now, right this minute. But in closing this week, let's talk about a game that has been also been about 7 years in the making, Steve.
It's been a hell of a long while, man. It was meant to be DLC originally, I believe. Expected to be within that first year after the release of Hollow Knight, and that grew into something different.
And
is this called Hollow Knight Silksong, or is it just Silksong?
No, Hollow Knight : Silksong.
You
it's
love
a separate thing.
Well.
It's like Dying Light the Beast. Dying Light : the Beast. This is started as DLC and is now a fully fledged video game of its own that Steve, you have played. Again, not a definitive
maybe 30
review.
minutes so far. I mean, this is a game that we believe for a long while was basically turning into vaporware. This was never going to happen.
Hang on, before we go into this, does anyone here actually believe that? Because I've often heard people go, "Oh, it's vaporware." It was always going to get done at some point.
I was hoping that for a long while, but even I was starting to think this is never going to happen.
I think very few games these days are vaporware. Do you know what I mean? I think these days very few games just disappear.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the thing is that the only thing for me, obviously, is that there's been, especially with a period of time that you're talking about, there's been quite a few studio closures and things going on.
Right and centre, man. Yeah.
In that sense, so that the longer it took, the more chance for that happening.
You're waiting for a news piece one day, thinking, "Is this going to be the closure?" Is that?
Yeah. I guess worth noting as well that the original game, Hollow Knight, has done that well that it has funded this studio for. I keep saying 7 years, like I'm sure of that, but
I mean, I'm not surprised by that. But I said earlier in the green room, I was saying to Chris and Steve, it's a weird thing that this was such an anticipated game. It was like it's coming. We honestly promise it's definitely coming. It's definitely coming, honestly. And then all of a sudden, it's like, yeah, it's coming. Yeah, next week actually. And it's like bang. And it was like,
but I will say what. You don't need a 6-month marketing campaign to hype this game, get previews
Maybe you
done.
Don't, but this was
you want a little bit though.
But this was my point. So. Like they could have, and this is what I'm saying is a bit odd.
But Mick, have you not seen what's happened? Like, have you not seen the news?
Oh, we saw.
Today?
Yeah, it's gone
literally
absolutely
has crashed
mental,
every single store.
I mean, that would have happened irrespective.
Just imagine,
that's what I'm saying. They didn't need.
If they had just imagine how and I'm going to say this in a devil's advocate way, right? Just imagine. If they had gone, let's sell this for fucking $30.
Oh,
right?
And
let's hype it for 3 months. They could have made. I mean, they probably will make a lot of money.
They will anyway.
They could have made
doubled it.
Fucking mountains with this if there had been that.
It was also backer funded at some point, so you have to be a little bit careful about that.
Yeah, because all the Kickstarter stuff. That's the thing.
You have to be a little bit, but at the same time, man.
Well, they've lent on that with all the talk of like why no one's getting review copies, haven't they?
Which I have feelings on.
Obviously, the backers and things like that. So
it's not.
I can see the angle.
I've reviewed games. We've reviewed games that have been backer funded. It's not the same thing. It's not doing a dirty to your backers. It's the way the industry works. It's how people do their jobs. That's not what we're here to discuss. What I will also add though is. You have to also remember, yes, this has crashed stores. Everyone, Nintendo Switch store was down, blah, blah, blah. The person on the street has no idea what fucking Silksong is, I don't think. It might have transcended. It might be because it's become a bit memey.
Oh, it's totally become memey.
But I don't know that, like, you go to your nan and go, "Oh, I've been playing games," and she's going to go, "Oh, that Call of Duty." She's not going to go, "Oh, you've been playing Silksong, Steve."
You're never getting FIFA levels of recognition, are you? That's never going to happen.
But it has, like you said, because it has become very meme, Silksong when. I mean, there's literally in our Discord, there's the joke is, now when Nintendo do a direct, what the hell will people spam in the comments?
Oh, yeah.
Metroid again.
Metroid, yeah.
Metroid,
sure.
yeah, fair point. What do you think of the actual game? Now we've talked around the,
I'll say
I think shit.
I've had a very short time with it, maybe 30, 35 minutes so far.
Okay.
And it's been very comfortable and familiar.
Which is weird to hear because it's not an easy game.
No, it's going back in there and it's the way the movement feels was very much a defining factor of Hollow Knight. It's always been quite a floaty game, and I know that's put a few people off. I think yourself included, Mick.
Just before you get too deep, because he's just said something that made me think about this. Right, sorry, I knew because you said like it feels very familiar, right?
Yep.
Hollow Knight, like I never really, I bought it, I played a bit of it, I never really got into it, like you said. But Hollow Knight is a game that 7 years or so it's been out, right? It's not a new game.
I said 7 years. Don't.
Adam may have completely made
I don't know when it was, but it's been a while,
yeah,
right? Chris will tell us.
I'll do some research.
It's a game that people like. It's 8
years.
So 8 years, right? It's a single player game. It's a campaign. It's got added stuff onto it. But this is a game that people have never stopped playing. Like you still hear about people who are on their 8th playthrough, or they did all the endings.
Can I tell you why that is, Mick?
Because it's good.
It's not. Well, yes, it is. It's not that.
It's really fucking good.
It's a Souls-like.
Yeah.
Steve, don't wobble your head at me.
Hollow Knight is massive head wobble.
It is
played 5 or 6 hours of it before I dropped off it.
It is at least as much of a Souls-like as it is a Metroidvania.
Yeah, that's fair comment.
It's got the 2D Souls-like trappings, all of them.
It can certainly punish you, that's for sure.
Yeah. It's like Nine Souls, and 9 Souls reminded everybody of Hollow Knight when it came out a little while ago. So
that's fair.
Chris?
Hang on, sorry, Chris. Have you played the original?
Yes.
Okay, and did you like it?
Yes.
Okay, no, I'm just curious. I want to get because it is a game that is so big, so hyped. I just want to get the temperature of the room where we all,
I mean, I've not jumped on it as soon as I possibly can, but I will play it.
So you really enjoyed the original, then? Really?
I've been looking forward to Silksong as a release, not as meticulously as Steve, but I have been looking forward to it as a thing. I
feel like you've called on Hollow Knight a lot, Adam, over the years.
That's fair? Really yes, but it's also mean that you've put me because you knew I was going to.
I think this. what I was just to carry on what I was going to say.
I mean, I didn't like it much. He could have been mean to me.
I think there has been a lot in those 7 years.
Yes, say it.
A lot of examples of very good 2D Metroidvanias, which means that, for example, one of my friends is playing Prince of Persia at the moment, and I want to go back and just play that game again.
That DLC has been teasing me for as long as I can remember,
and it's like, I'm not saying one's better than the other, but I think when Hollow Knight came out, I'm not saying there was but there's the last few years there's been fucking loads and good ones as well, and I think that's probably why I'm not I have to get this day one, because I'm like, I love Metroidvania, I love 2D Metroidvania, of course I do, but it's not the only time I'm ever going to get to play one. There's lots of options, and I think that's probably why I'm cooler on it than some other people.
Which ironically is a lot down to Hollow Knight. The success of that game is
100%.
The
genre. I feel like that hits the dude.
It's always been a popular genre, but things like Dead Cells, Hollow Knight that all came out in that period.
Yeah.
Just catapulted it beyond you can do this without having to be a Castlevania or a Metroid.
But man, I feel like that hipster dude whose favourite band has got popular and he wants to go and tell everyone who loves them now, but loads of people have been doing this kind of thing. They've been doing this for ages. Do you know what I mean? I'm like Chris has said, there have been some the Metroidvania genre has not been dead for 8 years. It has been thriving, I played some of this too, and we will talk about the actual game, obviously. But there have been some, Prince of Persia is, I don't give a fuck who made it. I know people like to shit on Ubisoft. It is one of the best Metroidvanias that we've had in years. It is unbelievably good, from the locomotion to the combat to the movement to the level of difficulty, the boss battles, even it brought things to the genre. I was talking to you about this, Steve, off podcast, about how it added the thing where you can take photos in rooms.
Literally saying that to my friend. And that's now been used in future Metroidvanias as a staple, and it's that's game changing for me.
Handy for older folk who can't remember shit anymore.
Well, that's true. Yeah, but fairly or unfairly, it's me poking a stick at Silksong as if to say, you started it then, did you? What are you doing different? What you do? And
do something.
Yeah. So what does it do?
I will say, I am keen to know if it's just more of the same.
And it is.
So I don't
far.
think that's... Yeah, I mean, within like a half hour for me, an hour.
Yeah, and I don't mean... Sorry, it was an unfair statement in the sense of you guys need to tell me now with your limited... What I mean is I'm because of the nature of how it's been released, I kind of want to sit back and just kind of... And I'm not saying that if people come back and go, it's just more Hollow Knight, that I'll go, well...
No, that's still a good thing. That's still a good thing.
I kind of would expect, after 7 years, for it to have a couple of new ideas, like other Metroidvanias have had, that we then go, well, they can be taken forward, and that's
the boundaries a bit.
It's not a genre that spawns sequels, though, is it? Like, you think about how many like big Metroidvania or 2D Souls or whatever have actually had a sequel jump off from the original. It's not that many. Like,
well, as
even
Chris said,
when the developers do. Hey, sorry.
As Chris said, it did start as DLC.
Yeah, and like I know you got things like Salt and Sanctuary and Salt and Sacrifice and things like that, but like Dead Cells never got a sequel. They've done Windblown now. That's what.
But that is very Dead Cells.
Yeah. It is, but it's completely not. Like, it's not a sequel to Dead Cells.
It's more like Dead Cells, but Bastion.
Yeah. But you look at like Ori, for example. That's the one I can remember most. Like Ori and then Ori 2. They're very similar. But they've got, like, Ori 2 has got a lot of different stuff in it to Ori 1. It's got a very good want Silksong to be. And that's what I'm saying. Like, is it a game where it's got, like, it's clearly, like, you've only got to look at the art style, but it's clearly a sequel. But it's got new stuff in it.
Yeah, and that's fine. I think that's the thing that I'm curious the most about. I know it's going to be good. It's not going to be shit, right? So then, for me, I'm just curious. And I think either way, I'll play it. But if someone says to me, Silksong has got, a few new ideas as well, and it elevates it, I want to play it sooner. Well, if it's just more Hollow Knight, I'll pick it up.
But like, you look at like,
it's visually
is it an 8? Is it a 10 essentially? Isn't it?
But I will say, like, whether it started as DLC or not, and whether it feels like that now, I think is what we're saying, aren't we? Really, we're saying, does it feel like this started? I will say, I never thought I'd be the one doing this, but Steve, you can back me up. I can't comment on a lot of what we've just discussed because I've played an hour. I will say I cannot wait to go and play more of it. I will say that.
I'm wishing we'd hurry the fuck up so I can.
Exactly that. But I will say, visually, it is a step up. And I played Hollow Knight recently on Switch 2 technically, but Switch in it. Yeah. And just to give myself a little bit of a an eye in, as it were. Like, you've done the same. Visually, this is beautiful. Like, and it's not. It's got more colour to it, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say it seemed more colourful. Hollow Knight was very blue. Like, Hollow Knight's a very
greens and
blue game.
Hollow Knight felt bleak a lot of the time.
Yes.
And that's why I couldn't get
by design, I think, as well.
It wasn't his definitive thing, but he just had that feel all the way through. This autumn straight away is like, this is picked up. It's colourful. It's bright. It's kind of a bleak setting from the off. I'll give it that much, but it feels, it just pops off on straight away.
Oh, it looks stunning. Yeah,
but time's going to tell me. I know this is hopefully a week where I can get to kick the arse out.
I can't imagine that they'll. It's a genre where, like, if you get a shooter, you sort of know what you're going to get every time you play a shooter. When you get, like, what I love about starting a new Souls-like or a new Metroidvania is looking for that new thing, because it like they might be formulaic, they might use a lot. Like, you'll get a double jump, you get a glide, you get a this and that and the other. Like with a Souls-like, you'll get similar stuff. You get a bonfire and you get a blah. But there's always that thing where. How's this developer innovated? What's this developer added? What's their ingredient they've dropped in that will carry on?
But I think it's a positive thing because even this early in, Steve, for example, the down attack, the down air attack
is different.
And I think
take off on a diagonal rather than straight down.
You go diagonally downwards rather than, like you say, just bouncing, and that is, I think, quite a big deal.
And her agility as well feels different from the beginning, like from the beginnings of Hollow Knight. She will jump at a ledge and pull up and kind of bounce off.
Yeah, I was.
So she feels really lithe and acrobatic comparatively.
So I think that, again, we can't be giving a definitive. This time next week, hopefully we can
not even
talk a bit
closer
deeper.
Then, yeah.
But as for like I said, the best thing I can say about it right now is it looks gorgeous, and I really do want to play more of it, which I didn't know would happen because as Chris was alluding to, a lot has happened in that genre since Hollow Knight, and I think a lot of those games come out now. So it can be a bit of a lottery when you play one. We've talked about game feel before. When you pick up a platformer, if it doesn't feel right, it's not sticking. There's too many of them now. There's too many of them for this to feel bad in my hands. It's too many of them. And Hollow Knight doesn't. It feels like Hollow Knight, but there are tweaks. It looks better. The down attack is already different. It's in a different setting. There are different things at play story-wise.
Again, it sets up that level of intrigue straight away with taking a character that we know and putting them in a situation you wouldn't expect.
100%. And we will come back to Hollow Knight. As I said, we will come back to that. We'll come back to Borderlands.
Looking forward to it, man.
But that is pretty much a podcast for this week, I think. That's us done. We do a bonus podcast, which this week is... Steve, have you got a name for it? Can you tease a name?
It's a bit of a long-winded one. It's the LLC DLC... :DYK DLC.
Oh, I like it.
It's catchy, obviously. You'll all be thinking that later.
Do you know DLC?
The way to San Jose. Okay.
So it's a quiz about DLC, fittingly for a bit of Silksong. So
nice.
Well, no,
come have a listen. Come join us to see how it ends up.
And the way you do that is you go to patreon.com/lootlevelchill, all one word. Patreon.com/lootlevelchill. You'll find last week's DLC episode, which was all about older games and games we'd like to see come back. We've done loads of quizzes, loads of all sorts of stuff on there, hot takes episodes, and you will also be able to find our Discord, which you can join and chat to people and enjoy your life there as well as we do. Thank you very much to Steve and to Mick, and a special thank you to the one, the only Christopher Hyde.
Heidi.
It's been emotional.
Welcome back. Now fuck off again.
Yeah, will do.
Sick you again.
Later, twat.
What better way to end the pod? See you next time or whenever you choose to listen. Bye for now. Later, twats.